Let's see.
That's fine. Did you ever push record on your?
I did.
On your Rodecaster?
I have a
Okay,
note.
wanted
I have
to
a
make
note to remind me now. So I'm trying to see
right.
if we have sound now. I've killed the stream and brought it back up, but nobody's on. So Jay's checking.
I'm trying to get into.
You got to go to twitch.tv. The Facebook one worked, bud.
I'm on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's weird because I just went back on. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, when I go to Twitch, I'm not seeing that it's live, but.
Huh.
Yeah, it just says.
Oh, no, there it is.
starting.
0 viewers. Let's jump back in.
Well, let's give it a minute. I'll play some. Here, I'll play this.
I see it again.
Who is this tiny?
Let me know if you can hear anything.
Give me 1 second here. Yeah, I hear something on the Twitch. On the Twitches.
On a fighting machine.
So we're good? We're back?
Spitting fire. He's
Yeah.
a wizard of
All right.
wizard killer.
We lost everybody.
Hold on. I just have to let this ride for a minute.
Let's tackle this.
What? I need to
I
pull
definitely got
up
some.
the lyrics to that and read them at some point.
I feel like if Michael Jackson did Sonic 3 music, which we definitely did, I feel like maybe Prince had some involvement in the guitars and synths on this one.
Yeah, there's something going on there for sure. Maybe Don Henley. I don't know.
I could see that. Yeah.
Don Henley.
Seems like we're back and running though. Sorry, everybody. Let me know if we have any more issues here.
We had some interwebs difficulties.
Yeah. You there? Yeah. Okay.
One more connection. You know how like Super Mario World was gonna have like a CDI version? I can't remember what it was called, but like there was like
Hotel Mario.
No, that actually came out. There was another one that was like a sequel to Super Mario World, or maybe it was the original. I don't know. But there's a bit of that with like the crawling on the back walls and stuff.
Yeah. It's very reminiscent of like that. Super Mario World, right? Where you crawl on the wall and you would, in this one, I don't know if you hit a thing to flip onto the other side of the wall, but you most certainly do that same kind of like up against
the little fence to, you know, where you'd go to the little square, hit it.
Yeah, there's plenty of that. And that's one of the things I struggle with the game is like, when can I grab the thing or when can I go on? Like you can't, there's no distinct way to tell. Like in that game, it was like, here's a cage. You know that you can climb on it. In this, it could be the same wall and look almost exactly the same. And you're like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to climb on that.
I didn't see much that you couldn't climb on in this one. So I've only gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a decent game. I mean, like, would I say that after spending another day or two on it? I'm not sure. But my review of 4 hours of the gameplay, it's worth playing. Not too expensive either from the PS1.
No, we'll get into the cost, but it's not out of bounds for anybody for sure. No. So with that, why don't I go next? Because John basically said everything I wanted to say. And I'll tell you this.
Good.
I did experience this game back in 1995. It was one of the reasons I had a 3DO was this game came with it, and I got it on disc. I think I paid like $99 for it at one point, right? Complete. Yeah, I know. Because weren't nobody playing it. But I had this game, and this was one of the ones I enjoyed and had the most fond memories of. Now, I do remember it being repetitive and difficult, right? But looking back at it, it's not as repetitive as I remember. Okay, there's more to it from like the quip perspective, but ultimately it does become a bit like it does wear on you after a little while where you're like, okay, yes, well, let's do this one for Johnny. I got it. Okay. Or let's go back to the mystery van, Scoob, or whatever he says like 1,000 times. When you're at that level select screen, he only says one of two things, and you're just like, oh my God, please, enough with the fucking Shaggy reference. But that's that's just part of the game. And I will completely like echo what you said in that it's very much like it's a good game. I enjoy playing it. I find myself wanting to like continue to play it. I go back to it more so now than I did then. I play it and I do enjoy it. And it is also a heavy dose of nostalgia because it takes you back to that time in your life when I was 19 or 20 years old. And I remember playing this game and all that stuff was like culturally relevant as well. And it was just that whole mentality and the direction of those kind of games is really captured really well in this game. So if you want like I said, a bit of a time capsule back to what it was like to be a teenager, or young adult in the 90s, the 20s. I don't need to make myself any older. In the mid 90s,
1920s.
yeah. Well, in the aughts, But this is a good way to experience it. It really is. So I think it looks good. I think comparatively, it looked great compared to some of the things that you saw back then that were coming out. And like you said, with the sequels, especially when them putting them in 3D, I think this one is much better than either of the sequels that came out later on. So, yeah, I would go ahead. MFN Tech Box is here and says, "What up?
What up?"
Hey, long time. I think that what we thought of was stealing back then of ideas, we now think of as homage, and I feel like that's really shifted my view on it.
I agree.
And then the second thing, can you imagine the kid that had a CDI and then he's like, rich kid, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
He's got a CDI and he's like, oh, I hate this. And he got the 3DO and he's like, oh my God, this is the future. Look at these controls. They're amazing.
It doesn't have a joystick in the middle of it, or whatever the hell that CDI controller was. The analog stick, like a goddamn Atari 5200 type stick with your thumb. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got to push down to pick something up, but also go through doors. And,
how you gonna do
I
that?
got extra buttons that
how
aren't
you gonna
being
do
used.
that? I can control my Laserdisc player from this thing as well. Anyway.
So that kid was like, this is amazing. Like, this is the future.
Yes, I agree. And it's funny because I landed in the same place you did. Based on the gameplay itself and some of the repetitiveness and the difficulty and some of the controls, I think more than the difficulty, I considered a 3. And then, from how it was designed and how it played and how it looked and the fact that like Gex was kind of like the, hallmark of the 3DO, and it was one of the better games. I considered possibly a 4, but I think I'm landing on a 3.5 as well. I think it's a good game that held up well, especially compared to other things of the era. And I think that it's still, I wouldn't say it's culturally relevant, but I did see that there is a Reddit about Gex, like a Reddit subreddit, and a Discord server dedicated to Gex.
Huh.
Yes.
We don't even have a Discord
kink
server.
shame.
No. Yeah, what's that? No kink shaming? That's
kink
right.
shame.
No kink shaming. So, but I definitely think it's a good game. And I think just from I like the voice acting. I like the fact that he had a voice, which most characters at the time did not. And that it wasn't like off-putting or stupid or just like you said, like NBA Jam-esque, where it's like, okay, the same 4 things over and over again. It was the same things over and over again. But man, there were a lot more of them than I remember. And I didn't feel that I was getting the same ones over and over while I played the game. Unless I just was at the level select screen or just standing there. Those are the only 2 times I felt like that happened. Yeah. So I'm putting it as a 3.5.
How far ahead of Nintendo was Gex? Like, when did Nintendo start putting this much voice in their games? It was after, Mario Sunshine? Maybe
it's got to be GameCube because they were still dealing with you couldn't though because it was all downsampled, compressed audio that you couldn't use that much because that took up a ton of your space, and you're limited by the fact that you decided to go with ROM cards, right, and cartridges. So like to be fair, GameCube. But to be fair, all of them were like that, right? Everybody but Nintendo did, and they've never really given Mario a voice other than to say things like "hoo hoo" or whatever, like he's Mickey Mouse or whatever it is. So
sorry, just to be topical, so Sonic 2 now the biggest grossing video game movie ever, and then come on, Mario's going to be, right?
Probably.
So
well, we'll see. It wasn't last time.
So 2 members of Parks and Rec going to have like the biggest like video game movies ever. Like, is Aubrey Plaza going to do something huge?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine.
Crickets.
We'll just drop that point. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, I thought Jay would have something to say, but he's just sitting there.
You're the cricket.
I have nothing.
Bump on a log.
I have nothing to say. I don't know how I feel about it. Was it Chris Pratt's going to be Mario?
Yeah, we're not here to talk about any of that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do.
The thing.
Okay, go ahead.
If it's like Mario Batali, like you're going to be like, come on. Anyway.
It's me, Mario. That's kind of how that would go.
So I'm going to read Robbie's review. Sashimi Z didn't get his homework in on time.
Oh,
so he might be getting booted. Right now, he's a big question mark, both for the ratings and in general. We'll see how that all goes. But
he's a 3DO guy, right?
I know. Maybe he was too busy. He was too engrossed in the gameplay to actually stop and tell us what he thought.
That makes sense.
Anyway, so I'm going to give you Robbie's opinion, which is based. When they say you should never judge a book by its cover, we're going to get a book judged by its cover, because I don't believe Robbie has ever actually played this game. So Robbie's review is as follows. He goes, I think the reason I never played this is because I was utterly sick of mascot platformers by the time this game came out. I blame Bubsy. Okay, that's fair. So, but he says, I give it a 3 for the 2 they gave to Gex, but the game looks like some generic ass shit. I don't think it's that generic, honestly.
Can I say I think this is a Robbie ass game. I feel like in the World 2 they start looking very like Rocco's Martin Life, which I feel like is 100% a Robbie. Like,
except it's too popular. Robbie's like it has to be whatever that horrible game over there is. What is the one that's Cybernoid? It has to be Cybernoid.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
If Gex was constantly being pulled down by gravity to the point where he could barely get up, he'd like it better. No, I agree with you.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is if it wasn't a flag, in essence,
If it wasn't a mascot platformer and the flagship of the 3DO, he'd love it.
Yeah.
He'd be like, this game is an amazing game.
If it was just some bullshit that came out like on the Genesis or Nintendo or PlayStation and it was just a back burner game,
Maybe we
he'd
should
be like, this game's fantastic.
Maybe what we should do is we'll mock it up. We'll do a ROM hack. I'll put a big cowboy hat on him with a mustache and give him a 6-shooter. We'll call it Tex. And then we'll see what he thinks. Instead of shooting like fireballs with his tongue, he shoots a gun. And we'll call it Tex.
You realize listening to us talk about Robbie right now is like an old wife talking about old bunch of wives talking about their husbands.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's have
or just their one ex-husband. We married
Yes.
Margot or whatever that was called.
yeah. Familiarity breeds contempt.
I can say I feel like Robbie is not as counterculture as we put onto him. I feel like sometimes he gets really into like.
I agree. I do too. I agree with you.
Let's hash out Robbie's personality and persona right now.
Yeah, let's
we got a
let's
couple hours,
dissect it.
right?
Hold on, I'm gonna go get a chart and we're gonna fill this thing out. He's gonna have to pick up the
you
phone.
got
I'm
the
calling
red
him.
string?
No, and no, I do not.
No. He doesn't
But
need to be involved.
anyway.
Red strings. Let's
All right.
do this.
So
You're gonna get the bad suit.
we're already halfway there. Jay, give me your rating. We'll wrap up this segment and we'll start moving along to the end here.
All right. So I don't have a whole lot of comments other than I mirror pretty much everything you guys have been saying as far as that goes. I did have a couple things. So one thing I pulled up that we were talking about earlier, EGM actually did give it the Game of the Month award.
Mm-hmm.
And the
3DO Game of the Month.
no, EGM gave it the Game of the Month award. The game was awarded Best 3DO Game at the 1994 CES.
Ah,
Sorry, which month? I'm looking it up. I
Game
need
of
to
the
know when
Month.
other games came
I
out.
don't see Game of the Month. So
No, I'm trying to see when it came out so that Game of the Month we can find out like what month. Like
yeah, we got to figure that
Right.
out because I might have that issue at home. You gotta say Car Ramrod.
Car Ramrod.
You never saw Super Troopers?
Yes, really have I ever seen. You boys ever been to Mexico?
Anyway,
yeah.
all right. So go on. Sorry,
You want me to go right meow?
Are you saying
What?
meow?
Do I look like a cat to you?
All nimbly.
Do I
pimbly?
look like I'm jumping from trees all nimbly bimbly? Do I look like I drink out of a saucer of milk?
Maybe you do.
Jim Gaffigan? No, it wasn't Jim Gaffigan. Who was that? The guy in the car. He was a comedian.
We're all
Never mind.
comedians.
Yes.
Maybe it was Dana Gould.
So, Dana Gould.
Probably.
So, but no, I do. I feel the same way as you guys do about the game. I think it was fun. It was the Dana Gould stuff does get a little over the top after a while. It's like, all right, dude, shut up and just keep moving. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty good game. It never grabbed on because it was on a $700 game system in 94 or
Right.
93. The game, if it would have been on a $149 game system, it'd probably be every bit as big as Sonic or Mario.
I don't know who either one of those things are.
Exactly.
What is that?
Nothing.
Oh,
So
okay.
Mario had a brother, Luggy. They were plumbers. They used to fix.
Waluigi.
They used to fix.
Luggy. That's
Waluigi.
canon
They
now.
used to fix
That's
pipes.
canon. Waluigi.
So
Anyway,
But no, I mean, I can get into all the semantics, but I'm not going to.
So you give it a 10.9. That's what I got down here.
I gave it a 5. I'm joking, a 3.
Oh, wow.
3.0. What did
right.
Robbie give it?
Nope, no takes
Three-
backsies.
3.0
Yeah,
is what he
I
gave
would've
it.
given a higher score then. That's fine, 3.0.
Too late. So, Jay, why don't you tell us where you can play it today?
GOG.
Yep. Formerly Good Old Games, GOG. You can play it on your PC for about $6. And honestly, there's really nowhere else. It used to be on the PlayStation Store. You can play your PlayStation 1 game on a PlayStation 2 or 3. But like from a console perspective, it was not on the PlayStation Classic. I couldn't really find anywhere else where it's current. And I could be wrong about that, but ultimately, GOG was really the only place I could find where you could go pick it up. It's not in the Switch store, although there's a campaign, which I think the same guy who has the subreddit and runs the Discord is like, we need Gex on Switch. And somebody was like, somebody's like, we don't have to put everything on the Switch, you know? Like, why not? First of all, who cares? But anyway,
Because someday somebody's going to try and collect that if they haven't already. And
well,
there's
they're already
8
doing it.
billion games on
there
it.
are people out there buying 2 copies of every new Switch game, one to play and one to keep on the shelf because they're psychopaths.
Ridiculous.
FOMO, buddy. Anyway, all right.
Oh, and we also, I mean, if you have a PlayStation, you can play it on the PlayStation.
Well, yes.
And we'll talk about the cost of it.
Certainly, those
3DO and
those are all options. If you
Yes.
have a 3DO or a Saturn or a PlayStation 2 or 3, backwards compatible,
Yes.
of course, you could play this game. This game is also released in Japan, and what I noticed is the mascot on the Japanese versions much more cartoony Japanese. Like he's changed completely.
Oh.
So yeah, not the same looking mascot looking guy. More Japanese cartoony. Less not anime. More like smooth. I don't know how else to put it. You'll have to look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Anyway, it's more like he looks more like a smooth Nintendo 64 version of Gex, if you will. But anyway, all right, John. Well, thanks for joining us,
Lord,
bud.
he looks terrible.
I told you. So I guess with that, anything else before we cut you loose and head on to our collecting segment?
I do real quick. Sorry.
Sure.
Gex Junior was recently discovered as a playable prototype.
Right.
While I'm looking for this, and I'm trying to see when Gex came out. Wikipedia, the best source for information ever.
April of
April
1995 and then December of 1995.
Well, I also saw something that said November 1994 for the initial release. So I'm not sure.
That's what it was targeted for, but it did not make it.
Okay. So if it was April of 1995, the games that came out in April, Mortal Kombat 3. So supposedly this is better than that.
Easy.
Jumping Flash, Super Bomberman 3, and Full Throttle. But if it came out in March, Chrono Trigger came out, and if it came out in June, Earthbound came out. So it had to be either April or May, because if they're calling it best game of the month,
it's April.
It was April.
It was
It
April.
came out in April.
But it's
April.
funny you mentioned that because I leafed through that October 95 Game Pro today, and man, all the ads for the games at that time were like exactly what you just said. Chrono Trigger is in there. Mortal Kombat 3 is in there. Earthbound is in there. Like all of these are in that. And I'm like, oh my God, what a great time for gaming. Like you open up a magazine, all those are current releases you can go buy.
And I would love, so March, you got Chrono Trigger best game. April, let's say Mortal Kombat 3. And then May, okay, Gex. Hopefully that was a May, but it seems like April. And then Earthbound. Whoever was in May totally lucked out, because it looks like it's just King Arthur and the Knights of Justice and Light Crusaders. And these are notable games, so I'm sure there were more.
How can you say that?
The best of the month for May sucked compared to the two before and the one after. Sorry, that's all I needed to add.
I think that's a prudent point to make. So thank you for making it.
That's what I'm here for. And thank you for making me feel like I was validated in my comment.
The in-depth, is it the girl from Gex 3?
That's from Gex 3. That is
Yeah, and who it is.
Agent Extra.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we did.
That's not, that'll get censored. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, since Clevis and...
yeah. The Playmate.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you,
All right.
sir.
Later, gents.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, John.
Bye.
retro game enthusiast John Young. The departed John Young. Banger. When I think banger, I think Gex credits and Mag Max.
That Mad Max intro is so much better for him.
Oh my god. All right, I'm going to go a little bit into the collecting. We're going to burn through this pretty quick. And then we'll do speed running and we'll wrap up.
Done.
You know what we haven't done? Giving away Tetris.
Shh. Yeah, where is it?
You dropped it, not me. Where did I put it? I don't know. In a drawer, maybe?
Did I put it there?
I don't know, but watch the TV behind you. Don't bump into that. It was here and it fell.
Yeah, I picked up and set it down somewhere. Oh, it's out.
All right.
I got my paper over.
So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to actually go.
Before we get into collecting?
Yep. Let me go in here. Let me
So while Mike's pulling this up, everybody, if you hadn't registered, you're bad. Sucks to suck. John actually donated for the show a CIB Famicom Tetris, which is pretty sweet looking actually. Mike and I kind of wanted to keep it.
don't
But
want to get rid of that.
yeah, but we didn't. It's just cool. So we got our list of people up on the board. Got a cool little manual that you can't read unless you're Japanese.
I don't think I can see. Why can't I see this?
The power plug. Don't you have to?
Oh, no, I got it. Media source.
It's got a little baby manual. I don't really know what to need the manual.
Hold on. Riveting.
Then while you're doing that, I can show them the cartridge.
Where's
So
the
it's a little
stupid?
fancy black cartridge.
Yeah.
So we'll put that back in the box.
Uh,
Put it back in here. Mike's pulling the wheel of death up.
I'm looking for
The wheel of winning.
I can't seem to. That's not working. I want this to be a live source, but it's not letting me do it. So I don't know. Stupid. I need to add a new source. What is this? What does that mean? Oh. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to get this stupid browser to go up as a
We're off the rails.
Yeah, we're not really. Okay, add source. Chrome. Okay, add a new, yeah. Hold on, here we go. This one. Aha.
There it is. Everybody can see it now.
All right. Yes, I'm gonna minimize this a little. Get it to fit. Sorry, like I have a set thing to go do this, but it just didn't want to do it, so I had to. Why is it not letting me resize it? How are we doing here? This. It's so weird. I don't understand, but okay, good enough. All right, so.
All right, so this is for Tetris. Famicom.
Yep, given away, again, donated by our good friend John Young, retro game enthusiast.
Part of the
A
crew.
complete in box Famicom Tetris. I saw none of these at Midwest Gaming Classic. We're going to spin the wheel of names as it is, and see who wins. Ooh, there's sound this time. All right. Tune in and you can win prizes too with the Lost Joystick Network.
Oh.
It's not over, remember? It's not over. I told you it wasn't over. I told you. Valdor the Great has won Tetris.
I was rooting for you, buddy.
But I'm telling you, dude, it's never it's
rooting
never
for
who
him.
you think it's going to be.
I was
It
rooting for him
always
because
does
he-
that.
I was rooting for him because he registered with me.
Yep. So I'm going to take a quick
Him and
screen
Matteo
cap.
were the only two that didn't register with me, or that registered with me.
Yeah, well, you know,
So it's kind of sad.
sucks for you.
But hey, Valdor, congratulations, buddy. You got a copy of Tetris Famicom CIB.
I'm not sure if he's still on or not, but
I don't know if he is or not. Well, it was kind of weird because we lost everybody with the internet.
yeah, it
dip,
dropped on us
so-
there. So
But if he is on, if not, and you end up listening to the show, DM us your info, and Mike or I, probably Mike, will get it out to you.
I'll reach out and
Yeah, if we don't hear from you, Mike will reach out.
We'll
So,
get it on its way, maybe with a little extra ephemera.
congratulations.
Congrats to
Some
Valdor
stickers?
the Great, a staunch supporter of the show. Thank you, sir. Woohoo!
Oh, he's
there he
on
is.
there. Look at that. Boom.
Yep. Woo.
Congratulations,
Awesome.
buddy.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thanks for participating. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit Mike up with your address and everything. We'll get that shipped out to you.
don't tell him what to do or her. I'm not
Please.
sure if it's him or her. I don't
Please and thank you.
know. He, she, them, they. I don't
I
know.
said please and thank you.
Yeah, you did. Okay. On to collecting. We'll make this brief. We're just going to talk about 3DO, PS1, and Sega Saturn. There are 2 versions of the 3DO game, 2 versions of the PS1 game, 1 version of the Saturn game. All the NTSC United States, none of the Japanese or European releases. So 3DO came in a jewel case and a long box. The jewel case version distinctly says on it, not for resale in the jewel case. Okay. And it's very easy to tell because it also says not for resale on the disc. So you cannot mess them up, right? Like, look at it. Yeah.
And Carla. All the time, Tip. You're on point.
What the hell is going on here? Call me in the middle of my show.
Was this somebody we wanted to talk to?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, open it up. Take a look.
Where's
Oh,
it?
you can't because it's over here. Ha, I gotcha. Anyway,
Oh, not for race sale. It's
yeah,
not there, though.
that's what I'm saying. But that was the pack-in version, right? And the long box version with those big, long 3DO boxes, right? So the jewel case version, actually know what, now that I think about it, maybe the disc is the same. Hold on. Let me pull it out and look. This is live TV, folks.
What are we looking at?
Not for resale. It also needs to be cleaned again because the top of it's dirty from when I cleaned it. Oh. Okay.
All right. So it does say not for resale.
The jewel case version of this game on the front says not for resale, and it also says it on the disc itself. That loose game is $20 to $25. In the case with the back art in the manual, $35. Sealed, you can find these. This was probably one of the most popular games on the system, like I said.
Yeah.
Maybe like $60. It's a give or take. One of them sold for 20, one of them sold for 60. None of them are up for sale for that price right now, but none of them have ever sold for more than that. Okay. And then from a long box perspective, the loose game is about the same. CIB is like $150. So there's one for sale up right now. And again, if you waited, you could probably find it for cheaper. If you wanted it now, you could probably pay a little bit more, but that's about what it goes for. And I do want to get this one in a long box eventually. I just happen to have that one because it's the easier one to find. And I grabbed it as soon as I saw it when I got back into collecting 3DO stuff. PS1, also long box and jewel case. We have the PS1 long box version here. It is the one that has the ridged edge, like the hard plastic ridges, and they all have the same problem on the top where the glue that holds it down. And you can use like tacky glue and stuff to hold this back down. And I don't think anybody would ever complain that you did that, but it's very common to see them up. Yeah. If they're down, almost always somebody has glued it back down. And you just have to make sure that they didn't use like super glue or something stupid that will seep through that will cause a problem. Yeah. So I haven't done that with that one yet, but I might. I probably will. They're very common. But yeah, the long box version of the PS1 game and the jewel case version are different. Okay. So the long box version has this old school, I would call it like a squared like logo. Like there's no like that open logo right there. Yeah. The jewel case version is a rounded logo with a little picture of Gex behind it. So you can tell there are actually 2 different versions of the disc. They have the same catalog number on them, but the discs are physically different. Oh. And this is actually the disc that goes with the long box version. So the discs are about the same regardless. I don't think most people understand that there is a disc variant and that there are 2 different versions. It's like $10 loose. Long box version, $40 in average condition. Jewel case, like $25. And then sealed, I only found one sealed one for sale on eBay, and it was not in great shape, and they wanted $800, which I did not think was a very good deal considering what I found out later. And we'll talk about in the graded part. Saturn, you're paying the Saturn tax as always. Saturn is always more expensive. $30 for this game loose. It only came in Saturn games only came in the big long jewel cases. $70 complete. And then a sealed one, I think, is like $350 I saw on eBay.
Sounds pretty.
It's not out of bounds, but yeah. So if you really want a sealed Gex, you can find one.
Please don't buy them loose. Don't buy
loose optical. If you get them in a collection and you sell them, fine.
Yeah, honestly, the only thing they should get loose would be a cartridge. So like Genesis, Master System.
But even Genesis, I won't
still
buy.
get the case.
Genesis, like if it came in a cardboard box, I'm cool with it.
If it came in a plastic box, you should have.
But if it came in a plastic box, buy it. If you want to collect loose Genesis cards, I get it. They're expensive now. So who am I to begrudge people? But I'm past that now. I can't do it anymore. It would have to be something very hard to find. All right. So graded. There were only 4 instances of this game that had been graded that had sold. I looked on eBay, didn't see any. I looked in eBay history, also didn't see any. And then I looked in Heritage Auctions, which is where this information all comes from. So this is all based off of grade and price ascending. Okay. So June 22nd last year, a jewel case version of the PlayStation 1 game sold at an 8.0 grade, A seal, $156. Okay. So that's about what I would expect. Okay. It's not a hard game to find, and that is not a good condition grade. The higher the grade, the more cost, sensitive it's going to become. April 5th of last year, a jewel case version in a 9.6B, much higher grade, lower seal but higher grade, $1,020. Okay, so a huge jump to go from an 8.0 to a 9.6.
Yeah.
PS1 long box, November 20th of 2020, so 11/20/2020. 9.0A PS1 long box, which is the only example that I had seen that had been graded of a long box like this right here, $1,320. Now, remember I told you we saw that one that was $800. It's going to cost you like $150 to get it graded. So that's $950. Plus you got to insure it, get it shipped back to you. And there's no way the one that's for sale on eBay is even close to a 9.0A. It was trashed. It was probably a 6.5 to 7B maybe type thing. And I'm not a grading aficionado, but when you look at it, it's pretty easy to tell.
Well, of course I have to look.
Go look. Yeah. And then just look up Gex PlayStation sealed and you'll find it. PS1 jewel case, July 11th, 2021, 9.8A, one of the highest grades you can actually get, $1,560. So the most expensive version of this game that's ever sold is the jewel case version. I would have thought it would have been the long box, but there just aren't that many in good condition. You see what I'm seeing?
This thing's in shit condition.
It's ripped up pretty good. So that's collecting in a nutshell. This game is not difficult to find. It is not expensive. I would highly suggest playing it. I would suggest playing it on a 3DO if you can, or through a 3DO emulator or whatever it is. And the 3DO controller is definitely capable, very good for playing this game. But it is good on the PlayStation and Saturn as well, although I do perceive them personally as inferior ports myself. So, Jay, why don't you tell us a little about the speed running of this game?
I will.
And when I say little,
this is in crappy condition.
I know I told you.
My Vegas Slots is in better condition.
Oh yeah,
than this.
easy. It's worth $48 easy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
God, that's terrible.
so yeah,
So speed running. So total, there was 9 runners, did 33 total runs, which was kind of impressive. I mean, that was better than R-Type. Was it R-Type? No. What game was it? We only had like 2 people on it.
what?
We had like, it was, it wasn't R-Type. It was the episode. What did we do before that? Before R-Type?
We did the bad games episode.
Maybe it was R-Type then. Was that the one we were talking? Yeah, it was R-Type. They only had 2 people that had finished it for the run. There was only 2 speedrunners on it. Remember, because we were talking, we could just do any %, but we couldn't beat it.
We couldn't beat it. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
So that's impressive. There was nine runners, 33 runs. So as far as run type, though, we had any % and 100%. The only speed runs that are recorded on here were for PC and for PS2.
Right. And did you mention how many people in total runs there were?
Yeah, I said
I didn't hear the part.
nine
Sorry.
runs.
I was reading
33.
something from my son, and I have to talk about in a minute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I did not listen.
No,
I
you're
apologize.
good. You're good.
But yes,
I've been doing that crap all night because I got the whole on call thing.
I know.
So.
Yeah, basically we did speed runs of any % and 100% for
Yes.
the PC and PS2 because those were the 2 fastest. Basically what I did was I took the fastest any and 100% for the PC and the fastest any and 100% for any
the PS.
console.
Okay.
And these were the fastest
And the
ones.
PS2 was the fastest on console wise.
Yes.
So the ones we had, so for the PC, for any %, we had Lucidus, did it in 34 minutes and 10 seconds.
Interesting about that person's run is no longer there. They are no longer a member of their profile is no longer active. It is still the current run record, but the person who did the next one,
Ice Dragon Chaos, who
Yep,
did the
for the
100% on PC,
yep.
was 57 minutes and 9 seconds. And go ahead.
But he did. I don't mean to interrupt. Let's start that over, and I'll give my point after you say the second one.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
So any % on the PC was done by Lucidus. It was 34 minutes and 10 seconds.
And that was how long ago?
2 years ago.
Yep.
And then we've got 100%, and that was on PC as well. That one was Ice Dragon Chaos, and it was 57 minutes and 9 seconds. And that one was done 7 years ago.
So an interesting thing that I noticed when I looked at this was Lucidus or Lucidius or whatever it is, Lucidus, no longer has an active profile on speedrun.com. The run, which you can usually click a link to it from the website, was dead. And I also found it interesting that that was really kind of the only thing that he was not involved in the other versions of this. And Ice Dragon Chaos was the second place runner and was not like a minute and 45 seconds behind him and had done that 7 years ago as well. So the point here is the game doesn't get run a whole lot. And I'm not really sure what happened with Lucidus or the run. It's still there. So I'm not sure if it will always be there. But anyway, it is the current fastest. Anybody's finished it. And also anybody's finished it on PC at any percentage. So.
And maybe that person just got out of it. Who knows?
But why? I guess what I always wonder is, why would you remove the run from speedrun.com? That's not up to you anymore. Once it's posted there, right? Maybe the channel's no longer valid. And then why would you remove your profile, which also is not really I don't think you can delete your profile. I don't know, but whatever. Neither here nor there. Well, tell me about the console ones.
So on the console ones, again, we only had, so you took the top 2 out of the consoles, which conveniently were PS2.
Yes.
So as far as any percent, same as the first one, that was done by Crash. It was the person's name. And they did it in 41 minutes and 8 seconds. And that one, ironically, was 2 years ago. So both any percents were PC and PS2 were both 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we've got the 100% for the PS2, which again was Crash, 1 hour, 6 minutes and 3 seconds. And that one was done 3 years ago.
The most interesting thing that I found from any of the speedrunning information, of which there was not much, nobody has a completed run for 3DO. So if you could finish this game, you could be the fastest speedrunner to complete Gex on the 3DO if you wanted to be.
I think for us, that falls back to the R-Type.
I think this one is more attainable than R-Type was for us. I was making good progress. I got to like the 3rd of 5 worlds finally. I had to get past one level in that first world, and once I did, it was no problem.
You started scooting along?
Yep. So anyway.
Well, maybe we should do it.
Maybe we should. So. I say you do it.
Oh, God.
I do have to add this. So my son, who was on earlier, messaged me and said he was just a little confused. He didn't know what was going on. He said, tell him I found a Dora game at the Midwest Gaming Classic and why. Now, I don't remember why.
Okay.
I know he's into Dora right now. My son loves all that kind of stuff. So he just wanted me to make sure that I said Connor got a Dora game at Midwest Gaming Classic. And I'll follow up with him as to why. Maybe we'll talk about it next episode.
Is that what he got it from Milwaukee Retro Gamer?
No, he got a SpongeBob game from Milwaukee Retro Gamer from Kalen. So, but that maybe he did the day before. I don't remember. He was running around. They were honestly, it was great because they could just run around and do whatever they wanted. I didn't have to feel like I had to stand with them, watch them. We could all work independent and then meet back up at times. Yeah. So it was pretty great. But
did that maybe tie into the the globe thing?
Nope.
He got. I didn't know maybe if that was like the cool replacement for that. Okay. Never mind.
Good thought.
I give up then.
Good thought.
I give up. So
what are we talking about next?
We don't have an answer.
Gex 2, Enter the Gecko.
Gex 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Gexaloo.
Electric Gexaloo. Why do we use Electric Boogaloo on every?
It has to be
sequel.
That's that or the Revenge.
It's true.
First Blood Part 2.
So
Electric Rambaloo.
I don't think we'll have a definitive answer on this right now because we've had a little bit. We've really enjoyed having guests on, and we haven't nailed down. We've got a handful of people that we want to bring on.
Yep.
All secrets.
Yep.
But we want to actually identify who we're going to put on. I think the next episode we're going to have a guest, and of course, when we have guests, they pick out the game. So they get to pick what game we play.
Yeah, of course.
So I think at this point, we'll have, of course, we're going to have the episode posted up in a couple days. So once we get it posted up and we have it on social media, I think we should probably have an answer on at least who's going to be on the next episode. If
we can get someone to commit to being on, no problem. We'll post it. If not, we'll pick a game and we'll post what that is.
We got somebody. We got somebody I think will commit.
We'll see.
I think somebody will commit.
Maybe.
We'll talk about it later.
I don't know if I want them or not. Stop looking at me like that.
Well, I'm gonna look at you like that.
But why would you do that?
I don't know.
Making me uncomfortable.
I hope so.
I feel like I'm being actually harassed.
Oh my God. I quit. This is my last episode ever.
John says in Poland, Dora speaks Polish and teaches kids English. So when I was there, a friend's kid said I talk like Dora. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, maybe you had a map. The map. He's the map. You know who's the nuts on that show? Swiper. What a badass. Swiper just comes, shows up, takes what he wants, and leaves. Although he is easily thwarted.
He's almost like the Debo of.
Except for
Dora.
he has
That's my hat now.
He has one glaring weakness, and all you have to do is tell him not to do it, and he won't.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh man. Anyway, all right.
Anywho.
Tell us a little bit about
So we don't have an answer for the next episode.
where can the people listening to us now find us?
They can find us on. We have a link tree. I'm not doing it tonight.
I don't know what it is.
I'm just not. If people have listened to previous episodes, they'll know what. If not, I encourage you to listen to the previous episodes.
What is how would you articulate a link tree if you were to tell people the actual URL?
No,
How would you do it?
no. It's linktree/lost joystick. I'm not doing it. God damn it! I got to do it. It's linkter.ee lost joystick /lost joystick.
And where else can people find us?
Social media, of course. I mean, you can do the link tree and you can find all that
You can
there.
do the link tour.
But social media, of course, Lost Joystick at Instagram and Twitter. And we also have Lost Joystick Network on Facebook and Twitch. And our email, info@lostjoysticknetwork.com.
These are all correct. Of all the things you've done tonight, you did that the best.
I got that one nailed down.
Yep. No, I concur. So all in all, I think another place they can find us is every other week right here.
Yes.
On Twitch, on Facebook Live or whatever the fuck they call it, on YouTube, streaming, whatever they call that, YouTube Live, I don't know. But we're on all three of those every other Thursday night talking about old games that are not as old as us.
I think we might need a
most times.
Discord.
Yeah, maybe someday. I'm not quite there yet. I have a hard enough time posting stuff on Instagram, and I like doing that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't read other people's Discords. I don't want to have to read one myself.
Yeah, that's true. I get on Collector's Quest quite a bit. Those guys are fun.
Brag much?
Just name dropping, Johnny and Tyler.
Yeah.
Johnny Iucci.
Johnny _Iucci.
Yes.
And default JEN.
J-E-N.
Tyler. Yeah, no. Anyway,
I
so
love those guys.
anything else?
I don't think so. We're gonna have we'll have next episode idea in the next couple.
You got to
days.
go next year to Midwest Gaming Classic. You got to go. Make plans.
Done. I'll go.
All right.
If we're getting shiny jackets, I'm definitely in.
Look, if I can get my hands on some shiny jackets, I'm buying 15 of them and I'm going to start recruiting people.
We're gonna have a gang. So me, you, and John and Robbie, of course, are in it.
Absolutely. I mean, we got it's something like a 4-man gang.
We need an LJN gang sign.
It's the same as one they use at the Pride Parade, I think. Probably not the same one.
No.
Same rainbow. Maybe it's not the same rainbow. Either.
So,
Anyway.
well, congratulations again to Valdor. We'll
Yep.
get this Tetris out to him.
Congrats, Valdor. I'll be in touch. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on the live stream. Thank you, everybody, for listening, as always. If you get a minute, please go out and rate us on iTunes or wherever your podcast aggregator of choice may allow you to rate us. It means a lot to us. So with that, go out there, have fun, be safe, and be excellent to each other.
What up, dudes?
Look,
Yeah,
the show
John,
is
you're in the
over.
gang.
The show's over. Okay. So anybody that's not in the gang needs to leave. Seriously, don't anybody leave. I'm just
No,
kidding.
don't leave. We value the 4 people that
They're
are
gonna
here.
close our channel down if you leave. Okay. They're gonna be like, this place is abandoned. What is happening? Why is this still a thing? No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
Shit, you know what we didn't do?
So, a lot.
Yeah, we didn't figure out. We didn't do anything for another drawing.
We don't know what it is. That's why I skipped it.
Well, we got a whole box of John shit over there. We could use some more of that.
I want to give away your stuff. This Vegas Steaks might need to get graded and given away.
Oh, no.
Maybe I should have bought that one for $46. Congrats, Valdor. John says congrats too in the chat there. So I I was on Heritage Auctions on Tuesday night, right? They have a weekly Tuesday night video game auction. And they had some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. They had a 8.0 CIB Tony Hawk 2 for the PlayStation graded. It is an 8.0 graded, complete in box, which just means a CD. Tony Hawk 2. And I was bidding on it as a joke because when it there's a proxy bidding time, and then an hour before the proxy bid, it all stops. So you have to go do the live bidding after that. So I wait for the live bidding. There's 0 bids on it. It's $0. So Harrison's there with me, and I'm like, I'm going to bid on this thing because it's so fucking stupid. A CIB PlayStation 1 Tony Hawk, one of the most common PS1 games in above average condition, opened and graded. So I'm like, okay.
Why would you even spend the money to grade that?
I thank you. So it comes up and it's like $11. I hit bid, $12. Then it's $14. Then I hit bid, it's $16. And I'm like, what's my cap? My cap's like, this is a $15 game, but it probably cost them $100 to grade it.
Yeah.
My cap is in the $50 range. So then it gets to like,
is it the cap or is it where it's like, no, this is fucking ridiculous?
it's the absurdity of it all is why I like doing it. Okay. So I actually enjoy getting the garbage. Like I said, I want the Tailspin 7.5 that nobody wants. It's just fun. It's dumb, whatever. So, and they display nice. So I'm like, hey, man, if I can get this thing cheap, it's Tony Hawk. I'm never going to find a cheaper copy of Tony Hawk in a Wada case, So it gets up to like $50. I'm like, this is a $15 game, of which I'm sure the copy on my shelf is nice, if not nicer. And if it's not, I can find one.
It was probably the guy that graded it was probably like, I can't let this thing fucking sell for less than $100.
So I also thought this, and I wonder, we have a few people out there listening and watching or whatever. Complete in box jewel case games, like, listen, I hate to tell you guys this, but ever since that game came out, those games have been getting swapped case wise. Since I bought CDs, if one of the clips on the side of a CD case broke, I would go to like Goodwill, buy a CD that I liked, and I would swap the case like right there. I'd just do it. Like nobody cared. It was just part of the culture. So I sure hope that they're not grading the plastic, because I'm sure that there are ways that they can carbon date and look at it and make sure, but you can't look at it and tell me it's the right one compared to, like, it's very easy to look at what the inner piece looks like, the plastic and the teeth, and if it's clear or if it's black or whatever it is, and swap all those pieces out. Like I could take the back art and manual and put it in any case of the era. I could find like Kyle has a bunch of like 4 or 5 like Kurt Warner football for PS1, never been opened. But if it's all the same innards and the plastic is the same, why not take your copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which has a nice manual and back art and disc, and put it in that? No one's ever going to know. No. Ever. I'm sorry. And if they do or they care, they are so disconnected with reality and how things worked for so many years as it relates to a plastic jewel case.
The dude that sent that in to be graded was already so far out of reality. That was just ridiculous.
It hurt my head to look at. But anyway, so I lost that, which fine. I didn't care. I didn't want to win anyway. Once it got past like $35, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not buying this. But I bid. What I realized is I stopped because 3 people were bidding on it. I thought it was just me and one other guy. So I watched it and you could tell it was like bid. And I'm like, who's buying this? Oh my God. It sold $50 plus they have a minimum like buyer's fee you pay. It's like 20%. So whatever the minimum was, it was more than $10. I know that. It probably cost that person $70 to buy that game.
And it cost the dude that graded it $100.
Then this one kind of pissed me off. So they had Half-Life 2 on Xbox in there. And then
cool.
So I'm looking at like one of my favorite games of all time. And it's like a 9.0A. And they don't go for very much. Like it was like I put my limit at like 150 for this one. It got to 130 and I was the high bidder. I'm like, oh, I think I won it. And then like the auction ends because it does this thing where it says fair warning and you get it like a chance, and then the auction will close itself and you can bid just before the auction closes itself. Well, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it looked like I won, and then the auction ends, and I didn't get a chance to outbid anybody because, like, if you bid, it extends it by 5 seconds or whatever. Yeah. So if it's at 130 and somebody bids, okay, then it goes to 140, and then it opens the bidding back up. So then I can come in and go, well, I got 5 seconds to decide if I want to go 150 or not. I didn't get that option. I thought I won it at 130, and no, I didn't. It closed at 140. Didn't see the last bid. Didn't get the last few seconds to actually try and bid, like reopening of the bid. And I was kind of disappointed because I love that game, and I think that at some point those kind of things are going to get expensive, regardless of how many there are or what grades there are. There'll be more than I didn't pay for it this time. So that was.
You didn't bid on the Vegas slots.
No, I missed. Well, I missed it.
Oh,
I didn't get what I've been doing now. My strategy is because I always forget. It always happens Tuesday at 9. I'll set an alarm, but I set the alarm, and then if I don't immediately go do it, I forget, and then I miss the first half an hour of the auction because then I go, oh, I'll get to it, and then at like 8:30 or 9:30 or whatever it is, I'll look and go, oh crap, and you've missed all the stuff. Like all the Atari and NES stuff is gone, and that's exactly what happened.
We did that on what was it? I think it was when you got the Simpsons versus the World.
Yeah, I jumped in. Yeah,
because it was like a half hour in, and that came up like. That was the next auction.
Yeah, exactly. And I just was like, oh shit. But what I've done now, my strategy now is to find one early, like one of the first auctions that I might actually be interested in, and it will text you to let you know that something you're tracking is going up for bid. So then I'll engage then if I want to. So anyway, but yeah, that was I almost want to go look because there was something else I was gonna bid on too that was like ridiculous. But I always just pick the dumb stuff. God, what was it? What else did I bid on?
That's why it's fun.
It is fun. Hold on here. I'm going to pull it up because I was annoyed with like at the end of it. I was like, I thought I had that fucking Half-Life and I didn't. It made me mad. Let's see. No, that's ET.
Is anybody still on? Do any of you guys go on this Heritage stuff?
Are you talking to me?
No, I was talking. It shows there's 4 people.
Oh yeah. I don't think anybody else does. Here's what I'm tracking for the next one, by the way. Okay. The things I'm tracking for the next auction next week, the 10th.
Yeah.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial, 8.5 A+ for Atari. Now, that's because it's an early one. I don't think I will buy it because those things go for too much money. It's really stupid, but I would not buy it. Friday the 13th, 9.2A sealed for NES.
God, that game is trash.
But here's the thing about that game. There are so many 9.8s. There's more 9.8s of that game than just about anything NES-wise in the world.
Yeah.
So a 9.2 is severely devalued. Anybody that wants to buy like a 9.2, you can get a massive discount on the price because the 9.8s, they're so plentiful. So it's like, I don't care. And then the last one is Shenmue. Shenmue for the Dreamcast, a 7.0 B+.
Oh my God.
Shenmue is like a $30 to $40 game at most now, maybe less. I don't know how it's fluctuated. I'm going to guess that goes somewhere in the $70 to $80 range. If it's less than $100, I'm going to try and buy it because I love Shenmue. Yeah. It's sealed and it's going to be a cheapo. Yeah, Valdor says he doesn't get on there yet. It's actually pretty fun, man. It's a live bid. You can get steals there still. You can still find deals on you can buy games that wind up going under market.
Like Tailspin, CIB.
Well, I want to know
sealed.
That sealed copy of Tailspin cost me as much as it would buy a sealed copy of Tailspin. And what would I ever do with a sealed copy of Tailspin? It would sit on a shelf.
Pay $100 and have a graded.
You'd look at the spine of it like this. Yeah, exactly. It would cost me twice as much. So anyway, yeah, it's true. You just this Kid Icarus. That was the first graded game I ever bought. It was $100.
That was just neat though.
But it was $100. I'm like, that was how much one went for. And then nobody wanted it because it was CIB and it was in relatively bad condition. And I'm like, I don't care. When you put it up on the shelf like that, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
All that anybody ever looks at and everybody that's ever watched this set or this show says the same thing. Like, oh, Kid Icarus, that's awesome. Or Tyson. They don't care that it's a 7.5 or a 6, whatever the hell it is. No one cares.
Was that your Tyson?
That was the one that I picked up off Marketplace.
Yes. So
I'm shocked that it came at a 7.5. The box was a 7.5, and that's what made it a 7.5. Yeah. That it has the letter, which I think got a 9.2, and then the which doesn't count towards the grade. But the cart and the manual wasn't great, but the cart was really good, and it capped it. I would have thought it was like an 8 to 8.5, but it's not.
Yeah, well.
And there must be something with the box I didn't know about. But I think you don't get graders notes, so it's hard to say. But yeah, that's where all those came from. That River Raid down there. I could have bought a sealed copy of River Raid in Midwest Gaming Classic for like $20. Now it was a little beat up and it was not graded, but I paid like $70 because that is another game that there's so many 9.8s and 9.6s of. But it's a game I love. And I love, why wouldn't I buy it for that amount and put it up on a shelf and have it be part of a presentation like this instead of trying to put it up here oh, cool, you have River Raid.
And it's not like you're getting these to show off you're not a dentist.
No. I'm going to, one of these days, when I die, someone's going to go through all of my graded games and be like, man, he bought a lot of garbage. But it's not garbage. It's all the games I love in a presentable manner that I can use as display pieces and not, like
It would probably be
Tailspin-
it would probably be Harrison that goes through these.
Tailspin notwithstanding, okay, Simpsons, Bill and Ted, Kid Icarus, Dragon Warrior, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Pitfall 1 and 2, Jungle Hunt, Asteroids, Defender, Haunted House, River Raid. I think Missile Command's behind it. There's something else behind that. These are all games I like.
Yeah.
That's the point. But they're not 9.8 A++s. I don't give a fuck if they are or not. The Pitfall's the nicest one I have. It's a 9.4 A++ or something. But I don't even care.
Say most of them are like 7.5.
Right, because you can steal them.
Yeah.
No one wants them, but it's definitely worth getting on there and at least watching the auctions to see what things are going for to get a gauge of the market. But also, there are times, like I said, one time somebody was selling RBI Baseball 95 or whatever it was for 32X. That's like a $150 game and wound up going for $70. I almost got Scoon for NES for like $500. One of the first things I ever bid on that I didn't win was a CIB graded Scoon, which is really hard to find in the box. It's the submarine game, early game. And I think it sold for like $450 or $500. Man, good luck fucking finding that game for under $1,000 complete in box now. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't spend that much money on a video game. That's what I told myself.
And what are you shopping around for now?
Well, I mean, I almost bought that Turbo CD, so.
You got another one you're still on the hunt.
Yeah.
And that one's not getting any cheaper.
I think I'm just going to wait till the people who have it die, and then I'll get it before I die. That's my plan now. It's fine.
You'll be like 70 years old.
I've seriously considered some new strategies for that one, including trading off half of my collection to a dealer to do it. Like I'm seriously to the point where I would trade off a great number of the pieces I have that I could replace because I could not get this. You're trading a lot of stuff
Not your
and a lot of
NES stuff.
value.
You're talking about stuff outside.
No, like the Panzer Dragoon sagas, or like the box, the Utopia 2 that I have, or those kind of things. Like compiling a huge bunch of stuff like that for someone that's a dealer that wants to do, they're going to sell it all at a table and give them enough value to convince them to trade it to me because it's something you can't just go buy. That stuff I could find again. I could get on eBay and buy another Utopia 2 or Panzer Dragoon Saga. I might pay a little bit more, but I can go get them. This you can't. You just got to know somebody who knows somebody who would be willing to get rid of it, and that's where I'm at.
Which is just insane. That's to that point.
Yep, I'm just done. I'm done trying to buy one money wise. I literally went to Midwest Gaming Classic with the thought that I had enough money that was more than a down payment to buy it. Like I was like, I'm ready. Like I brought cash and I was like, let's go. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I don't think it's going to.
Was there even a copy there?
Nope. The closest thing that was even remotely there was that Bubble Bath Babes and then a boxed Little Samson. Those were the two things that I'd say from an NES perspective.
If it was there, somebody would have flopped their dick out and been like, everybody look at stadium events.
Yeah, it would have been for $500,000 and not really for sale. But my point is that, you can't. Trying to buy one in this world, you've got to know someone who would be okay with selling it to you for a temporary part of time or like a period of time, or you're going to have to give them enough that it's stupid for them and they look at it objectively from a money standpoint and go, okay, this I'll do. I'll take whatever thousands of dollars in trade because I can make this much money, right? And I'm getting the thing you can't buy. And that's the hard part. You've got to understand that this is it's not something you can just go on eBay and buy. No. It's not something that you're just going to find.
You're just a PAL version. You can find PAL versions all day long.
What am I, Euro trash? What is it? What is this? The Netherlands?
That's what I've noticed some people do, though, is they get the PAL version to complete it. Either they say the 676 is complete.
The sellouts, yeah, sure.
Or they're getting the PAL version and saying it's complete.
The truth of the matter is this. The only reason I'm chasing that game is because I've been chasing it my whole adult life. Okay. Not off and on, and sometimes more feverishly than others, but that would not be good enough for me. People who just got into set collecting, fine. They just want the game. No problem. I get it. But for me, it's different than that. There's more to it. It's just more deep rooted in the fact that, since that October 1995 issue of GamePro came out is pretty much when I knew of its rarity in existence and have been trying to find or see a copy in person, which I've never done.
Because it got relabeled. That's the one that got relabeled to World Class, right?
Yeah. That's when Nintendo bought Bandai's tech and took it off the market. I mean, it's all alleged. There's no hard evidence of any of this, but it's pretty obvious that's what happened. Yeah. So All right. I think it's time to go. What do you think?
It's about bedtime.
Indeed. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. Valdor, again, if you're still there, thank you. I will message you this week, and we'll get this thing in the mail on its way to you with some ephemera as well. Like I said, I've got stickers and gave away quite a few of those at Midwest Gaming Classic. That was fun. It was nice that Kalen put some in his booth, and we were handing them to people who bought stuff in the booth and stuff too. I was like, here you go, and they're like, I don't want it. And I'm like, too bad. Sorry.
I do have
anyways.
quick. So thinking of the stickers, I got a funny story for the handful that are still on.
Yeah.
So you guys have heard me talk about my son. My son's in college. He goes to Kettering, which is a university here in Flint. That it's an engineering school, and part of their program, the way it works is they basically do terms. So it's like a semester of school at the campus, and then they do work. So they go intern somewhere. So right now he's interning in Lansing, which is about 45, 50 mile drive, or Charlotte.
That's called a work release program.
Yes. Similar to that, yes. Kid's getting paid.
It's not state mandated.
Man, that kid's getting paid like $20 an hour to work from home in an apartment that they pay for.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it sucks to be him. So my kid, God love him. This kid, I love this kid to death. I love my kids. But this kid, I want to slap shit at him sometimes. So Mike got these stickers for us for the show. And everybody's seen them, I'm sure. But so my son Deegan, he sends Mike a message on Instagram. Doesn't reach out to me. I'm on the show. Granted, Mike does most of the heavy lifting here. I'm not going to act like he doesn't. But I'm on the show. He sends a message to Mike and says, hey, do you think I could get some of those stickers? So I text this kid. No. Did I text him or did he text me? No, I text him.
No, you can't have them is what I was saying.
I text him and I'm like, you seriously asked Mike for these fucking stickers? Like,
I don't have access.
I'm on the show. You're my damn kid.
I saw you just yesterday.
Either way, kid's I love the kid, but I'll slap him sometimes. What's that? Oh, he might. Can I get the autographed card, Mr. Pitt? An autographed sticker, Mr. Pitts? All right. That's my non-humor story. So.
All right.
But ladies and gentlemen, have a good evening. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Bye.
See ya.